Have you ever had someone say to you that they need you to tell them how you're feeling or what you're wanting, but there's something that's stopping you? Maybe it's fear that they'll judge you or that they'll have a reaction. Maybe you want to avoid it turning into some big conflict, or maybe you're not even sure what you're feeling, let alone how to express it. If you're watching this video, you might have come to the conclusion that you have an avoidant attachment style. Maybe a current partner told you that, maybe a former partner, or you read about it online, and you're wondering what can be done about it and you're looking for some strategies. So in this video, we're going to cover 3 points. First, we'll talk about how expressing feelings and needs in a positive and compassionate way can actually help relationships to flourish and grow. Second, we're going to cover how the avoidant attachment style developed and how that made recognizing and sharing feelings and needs feel uncomfortable. And third, this is my favorite part, we're going to go over some ways to get more comfortable talking about your feelings and being open in relationships. And we'll talk about how to create a safe environment to share in. I'm Kaylee Larkin. I help individuals who are frustrated and ready to give up on love to attract romantic relationships with more ease and trust and deep connection. Click the subscribe button to be notified of new videos and come visit me at KayleeLarkin.com to check out my courses and free resources. We all have needs and desires, whether that's air to breathe, water to drink, security, a feeling of purpose, a feeling of being connected to another person. And if you're watching this, you probably know there are some benefits to sharing feelings and needs in a relationship. And ideally, we want to have a partnership where people know each other really well, almost like your partner had a manual for how to have a really great relationship with you, and vice versa. But our partners aren't mind readers, and in order to understand this, they need us to be open enough with them to share what we actually want. And so, just imagine someone at work who wants to report by the end of the month, but they didn't tell you until 2 days away, or they didn't tell you at all, and just assumed that you would figure out what was needed. Maybe there was a time in a partnership where someone wanted something, but they weren't direct about it. And instead, you sort of realized gradually over time. Most people find that it's easier if people will verbalize directly. And so that's why communication is so important and why there's so many YouTube videos about communication. So make no mistake, sharing what you want reduces misunderstandings and it helps to prevent conflict. And when you're able to share what you truly desire and it's met with understanding and compassion, you get the idea that it's okay to express what you really want. Sure, you still want to express it in a way that the other person can hear, that acknowledges the relationship that you have with them. A secure romantic partnership, it's a team. It's a two-person system. And in fact, sharing what you want is an exercise in personal growth. Now imagine if you're having a rough time with work or health or family or some other part of your life. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to open up to somebody about it and just get all that feelings off your chest? So the thought of opening up, just notice how that feels, if it's stressful or if it feels good. Sometimes people are used to handling problems on their own. But believe it or not, people actually do appreciate that you also have problems because it makes you feel relatable. And sharing about what's important, it builds connection with other people. So in short, sharing what you want, it builds a deeper connection with a partner. And that's what creates the intimacy and the connection that people really want. You might wonder why it's been so challenging to share what you want. Maybe you've seen other people be vulnerable, they seem totally fine with it. And the fact is, the avoidant attachment style, it got a bad deal. So a lot of times, people say that they don't feel understood or they don't feel seen. This often is connected to some past hurts around not feeling seen when they were younger. However, remember, people can't see what we don't share. So if we don't feel seen or understood, part of that responsibility lies with us to help other people to see and understand us. And what happens with avoidant attachment is that people didn't grow up in an environment where it felt safe to express feelings and needs. Maybe they weren't typically asked how they felt about different topics, but instead they were asked what they thought about them rather than what they felt about them. There was more of a focus on logic and doing things rather than like an emotional or relational focus. And sometimes parents only reward their kids with love or attention when their kids are achieving things. And so if you grew up in an avoidant kind of ecosystem, you might have gotten positive encouragement for being self-sufficient and independent, and you might not have been encouraged, or you might even have been discouraged from sharing your feelings and desires. Basically, you got rewarded for being smart and analytical and doing stuff, but not so much for sharing your feelings or empathizing with other people. Remember that all these attachment systems are smart adaptations to our environment. So the result is that a lot of people, they end up hiding their light and their true selves, not asking for what they actually need and want. So if you've made it this far, here's the most important part. Let's talk about how you can bring more healthy self-expression into relationships and express what you want. And you'll be glad to know that the first step doesn't even involve making a request. It starts with knowing yourself. So really taking some time to just reflect on what you truly need and desire in a relationship and validate your own feelings. Have some self-compassion for that part that didn't get seen or didn't get to ask for what it wanted when you were younger. And recognize that it's fine to have dreams, desires, wants, needs. It's what distinguishes you from a robot. And it's fine to let yourself feel them. Some people like to journal on this. Like, how do you typically handle emotions and needs? And do you notice any patterns? And like anything, it gets easier with practice. So start with small requests. If you're in a relationship, pick something that isn't super emotionally charged. You'll know what that is for you. Find a time when you're both relaxed and use clear, compassionate communication. Create safety by staying calm and being open to their point of view, maybe reflecting their points back to them or just making an effort to understand their point of view. And by the way, if you're not currently in a romantic relationship right now, you can practice expressing yourself in other relationships, like with friends or work colleagues or even at the gym, and just using clear and direct communication without blaming the other person. So for example, with a romantic partner, one might say something like, when we don't plan our weekends ahead of time, I feel anxious and it affects my ability to enjoy our time together. So be sure to invite collaboration. Remember, and this is a really important point, relationships are a two-person system. So you're going to get further if you take their point of view into account. So you might ask, like, how do you feel about having more structured weekends? Like, how could we make this work for both of us? And the more that you can stay calm and avoid triggering each other's attachment systems, the more you can collaborate and problem solve together. If you enjoyed this video, click like and subscribe to be notified of new videos on attachment style and relationships. You might also be interested in checking out my range of courses and videos at kayleelarkin.com. And you can also join my mailing list to stay connected and get the latest tips and discounts on courses as they come out. Please share this video with anyone who you think might like it. You never know who you're going to help. Thank you so much for watching. This is Kaylee Larkin, wishing you a beautiful relational journey.